Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to have a little bit of a different type of video. I know I've been putting out a lot of videos of me talking to the camera. Today we're going to be doing a little DIY. So I've had this jacket for a very long time. It's just a jacket that says San Diego on it. It's been well loved, but I have been wanting for the last few weeks to have an inside pocket on it to carry my phone or my keys or something like that. And I decided, why not just make it myself instead of buying a new jacket with an inside pocket. So I'm going to take this old jacket, I'm going to take some leftover fabric from a different project, and I am going to add an inside inside pocket to it. So to do this project, I am going to use some binder clips, like miniature binder clips that I have in the house. You can see that. Some miniature binder clips just to hold the fabric. I have an iron here. It is warming up. It's warming up. Oh, is it warming up? I have an iron here so that way I can do the seam allowance on the fabric. You're gonna need some needle and some thread that together. I did that already, so I'll just set these to the side. So I have my needle all threaded here. You're gonna need some scissors to do this project, and then I'm going to be using some leftover fabric from a different project. If you recognize this fabric from when I made a little pouch, a travel pouch for my reusable straws, then you know that I had a lot of leftover fabric. So I have about this much fabric left over from that project, so I think I'm just going to use this amount of fabric that's kind of like left over right here. I did some preliminary measuring and I was able to see that this amount of fabric here, from here to here, will fit an iPhone 10 size in length and width, with plenty of space for seam allowance and a little wiggle room. So I think this will be the perfect size. Just gonna go ahead and cut this off from the rest of the fabric, and then we'll get started. Okay, I'm just gonna set the excess fabric off to the side. Save this for a different project in the future. Let's just save this over here. Okay. I'm just gonna clear my workspace so I can just work on this fabric right now. So I'm just gonna take my jacket and set it on my lap for right now. Okay, so I have this fabric. Like I said, I pre-measured it. I took my cell phone, set it on top, make sure that I had enough space. It was big enough and wide enough for my cell phone to fit on it. So I'm just going to fold over the edges on each side about 1/4 of an inch and then clip that around. Okay, so what you just saw me do is I clipped up both of the long sides of the piece of fabric, and then I did a seam allowance also on the bottom side of the piece of fabric. I was going to do all 4 sides, but if you can see the fabric at the top here, I'll turn it around so you can see the inside, the non-pattern side. If you can see that, this is actually where the fabric has like a straight edge just because of the way it was made. So I decided not to do a seam allowance on that end, and this will actually be the opening part of it. And I ran out of binder clips, so I started to use paper clips here at the bottom seam allowance. So now I am ready. I'm just about ready to iron down the seam allowance, make sure it stays in place the way I like it, nice and flat. But before I do that, I'm just gonna grab my phone just so I can make sure that the sizing of the piece of fabric that I'm using with the seam allowance taken in still fits the size of the pocket that I want, still fits the size of my phone, which is the primary reason why I wanted this pocket. So I'm just gonna grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have my phone. So like I said, this is an iPhone 10. I'm just going to put this on the fabric and make sure that it still fits the way that I like it in terms of the fabric itself. So here, I'm just gonna place it here, placing it in the middle of the fabric. There's still plenty of space, as you can see. It's plenty tall enough, it's plenty wide enough to fit my phone. I could also put keys in here. It's a pretty deep pocket, which I don't mind. If you prefer a smaller pocket, definitely go ahead and make your adjustments now. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I'm going to go ahead and iron my seam allowance down, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I went ahead and pressed the whole thing down. As you can see, there are no longer any binder clips or anything like that on the fabric. The seams are nice and flat. I'm just gonna flip it over so you can see just how flat and beautiful this fabric is now. So this is how the pocket's gonna look from the outside, and obviously this is going to be the inside with the seams. Okay, so now that I have this beautiful piece, all of the seams are nice and beautiful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open my jacket up to the place that I want it to be. So like I said, I have my needle and thread here, right? Very, very long amount of thread here. Oh goodness. So this is the end, and then here's the needle, right? So let me open my jacket to the place that I want it. I know that I want it on the inside of the left side of the jacket. So that will be this side here, the side that says Diego. So let me just open the jacket to this side. Okay, so now this is the inside of the jacket. I'm going to place the pocket so that it is in the place that I want it to be. I'm just gonna do a little like markup. So I'm gonna use these push pins as like fabric pins. Hold on, let me get it out. I'm gonna use these. Can you see these push pins, and I'm gonna stick the fabric onto the inside of the jacket just so I can get some placement idea. Okay, so now I have it in place on the inside of the jacket, just kind of placed on there with some pins. I'm gonna try it on and look in the mirror and see if I like this placement, kind of, you know, feel it out, see if it's too high, too low, too far to the right, too far to the left, make adjustments, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I gave it a try on. I like the placement, so I'm gonna go ahead and start stitching this. I'm just gonna stitch this by hand. Again, this is not gonna be perfect. If you've never stitched by hand before, please don't worry, it is really not that difficult. You're just gonna wanna stick it through the back side, go forward a little bit, and then come back on the other side. And then you're just gonna keep doing that evenly spaced. Sorry, that's the iron. So you're just gonna keep doing this evenly spaced around.